way into Greece is narrowest in front of Thermopylae and behind it. It is the width of a wagon road. To the west rises a high mountain, inaccessible and precipitous. To the east of the road there is naught but marshes and the sea. King Xerxes lay encamped to the north, and the Greeks in the pass of Thermopylae. The Persians bore down upon the Greeks and charged them. Many fell, but others attacked in turn, and though they suffered grievous defeat, yet they were not driven off. The Persians, attacking by companies and in every other fashion, could yet gain no inch of the approach. Xerxes attacked again. The Greeks, without hope now of surviving, fought even harder than they had before. It was in this fight that 𝙂𝙧𝙚 fell after surpassing gallantry, and with him other renowned Spartans. The impetuous king of the hordes of Asia, whose race is sprung from gold. Thus did the Greeks at Thermopylae contend. All these were buried where they fell, and there is an inscription over them. Go tell the Spartans, thou that passeth by, that here, obedient to their words, we lie. When the Greeks in the ships that came down from near Thermopylae had put in at Salamis, the rest of their fleet also heard of it and gathered in. When radiant day, drawn by her white horses, shone over the land, from the Greeks ran out a cheer like a song of triumph. On, ye sons of Hellas! Free your native land! Free your children, your wives, the temples of your fathers' gods, and the tombs of your ancestors! Now you battle for your all! The Persian ships put out to Salamis and arranged their battle line. The whole number of the ships of Greece amounted to but 300, and Xerxes, this I know, had 1,000 under his command. Ship dashed against ship. At first, indeed, the stream of the Persian armament held its own. But when the mass of Persian ships had been crowded into the narrows and none could render another aid, each crashed its bronze-faced beak against each of its own line and shivered their whole banks of oars. The Greek warships, seizing their chance, hemmed them in and battered them on every side. Be well assured of this. There never perished in a single day so great a multitude of men. Some power divine swayed down the scale of fortune with unequal weight, and thus destroyed the host. It seems the gods preserved the city of Athens. The Athenian people, when the barbarians had departed from their territory, straightway began to fetch back their wives and children, and the remnant of their household goods from where they had placed them for safety.
You can leave your spears behind you, yea, for sword and spear shall cease. For things all around are teeming with the mellow gifts of peace. What a pleasure, from the helmet to be free, and from nasty army ration, cheese and onions endlessly. Think of all the thousand pleasures comrades wish to peace we owe, all of life of ease and comfort which he gave us long ago. Figs and olives, wine and myrtle, luscious fruits preserved and dried, flirting with a little slave girl when the wife is out of sight. Scenes for which our hearts are yearning, joys that we have missed so long. Comrades, here is peace returning, greet her back with dance and song.
Fairest of all preludes is the great name of Athens, and the mighty race that gave birth to Pericles. What city among all lands shall I name more glorious? And Pericles got all Athens and all affairs that pertain to the Athenians into his own hands, their tribute, their armies, their galleys, their islands, and wide extended power. He turned Athens' aspirations toward sea power. The Constitution became even more democratic. That which gave the most pleasure and ornament to the city of Athens, and the greatest admiration and even astonishment to all strangers, was Pericles' construction of the public and sacred buildings, which his enemies maligned and slandered. They cried out in the assemblies, "We are gilding and glorifying our city, and Athens is decking herself like a vain woman with precious stones and statues and 1,000-talent temples." To painters in encaustic, for painting the cymation of the epistyle, 30 drachmas. 2 leaves of gold were bought for gilding the 2 eyes of the column, 2 drachmas. 2 talents of lead were bought for the fastening of the stonework, 10 drachmas. For stonework, for channeling the columns, 10 drachmas. The works grew, all surpassing in their magnitude, inimitable in their beauty and grace. Those structures, any one of which alone should have required, one might suppose, the work of many successive generations, were all finished in the prime of one man's administration. And so we have even greater reason to wonder that the structures reared by Pericles should have been built in so short a time, and yet have been built for the ages. For though each of them, when completed, was already ancient in its beauty, yet now, though they are old, they are still fresh and new as in their pristine glory. Time has left no stain upon them. A kind of newness sheds its bloom around them, preserving them untarnished by the ages, as if they were possessed of a spirit that can never fade, and a soul that never grows old. In eloquence, no man could equal him. When Pericles arose and took the floor, by 10 good feet, our common orators, as by an expert runner, were outstripped. Not only voluble, but with persuasion sitting upon his lips, he bound a spell and had this power alone of orators, to prick men's hearts and leave behind the sting. I will speak first of our ancestors, for it is right and seemly that on an occasion like this, a tribute should be paid to their memory. There has never been a time when they did not inhabit this land, which by their valor they have handed down from generation to generation, and we have received from them a free state. But if they were worthy of praise, still more were our fathers, who added to their inheritance, and after many a struggle, transmitted to us, their sons, this great empire. We ourselves assembled here today, who are still most of us in the vigor of life, have carried the work of improvement further and have richly endowed our city with all things, so that she is sufficient for herself, both in peace and war. Of the military exploits by which our various possessions were acquired, or of the energy with which we or our fathers drove back the tide of war, Hellenic or barbarian, I will not speak. For the tale would be long and is familiar to you. Our form of government does not enter into rivalry with the institutions of others. We do not copy our neighbors, but are an example to them. It is true that we are a democracy, for the administration is in the hands of the many and not of the few. But while the law secures equal justice to all alike in their private disputes, the claim of excellence is also recognized. And when a citizen is in any way distinguished, he is preferred to the public service, not as a matter of privilege, but as the reward of merit. Neither is poverty a bar, but a man may benefit his country, whatever be the obscurity of his position. There is no exclusiveness in our public life, and we are not suspicious of one another, nor angry with our neighbor if he does what he likes. We do not put on sour looks at him, which, though harmless, are not pleasant. We are prevented from doing wrong by respect for the authorities and for the laws, having an especial regard for those unwritten laws which bring upon the transgressor of them the probation of the general sentiment. We have not forgotten to provide for our weary spirits many relaxations from toil. We have regular games and sacrifices throughout the year. Our homes are beautiful and elegant, and the delight which we daily feel in all these things helps to banish melancholy. Because of the greatness of our city, the fruits of the whole earth flow in upon us, so that we enjoy the goods of other countries as freely as of our own. Our military training is in many respects superior to that of our adversaries. We rely not upon management or trickery, but upon our own hearts and hands. If we prefer to meet danger with a light heart, but without laborious training, and with a courage which is gained by habit and not enforced by law, are we not greatly the gainers? We do not anticipate the pain, although when the hour comes, we can be as brave as those who never allow themselves to rest. Our city is equally admirable in peace and in war. We are lovers of the beautiful, yet simple in our tastes, and we cultivate the mind without loss of manliness. Wealth we employ, not for talk and ostentation, but when there is a real use for it. An Athenian citizen does not neglect the state because he takes care of his own household. And even those of us who are engaged in business have a very fair idea of politics. We regard a man who takes no interest in public affairs, not as harmless, but as a useless character. And if few of us are originators, we are all sound judges of a policy. The great impediment to action is, in our opinion, not discussion, but want of that knowledge which is gained by discussion, preparatory to action. For we have a peculiar power of thinking before we act, and of acting too. Whereas other men are courageous from ignorance, but hesitate upon reflection. To sum up, I say that Athens is the school of Hellas, and that the individual Athenian seems to have the power of adapting himself to the most varied forms of action with the utmost versatility and grace. This is no passing an idle word, but truth and fact. And the assertion is verified by the position to which these qualities have raised the state. For in the hour of trial, Athens alone among her contemporaries is superior to the report of her. No enemy who comes against her is indignant at the reverses he sustains at the hands of such a city. No subject complains that his masters are unworthy of him. Let us draw strength from the busy spectacle of our great city's life, as we have it before us day by day, falling in love with her as we see her, and remembering that all this greatness she owes to men with the warrior's courage, the wise man's understanding of duty, and the good man's self-discipline in its performance. And we shall assuredly not be without witnesses. There are mighty monuments of our power which will make us the wonder of this and of succeeding ages. We shall not need the praises of Homer or of any other poet. For the whole earth is the sepulchre of famous men, and their story is graven not only on stone over their native earth, but lives on far away, without visible symbol, woven into the stuff of other men's lives.